Good.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Thank you.
We are doing a documentary in 2023, excuse me, in order to celebrate the city of Milwaukee's 120th anniversary since they incorporated.
Wow.
And if you would please just tell me your name, and I assume you live in Milwaukee, and when you got here.
Do you want me to start?
Sure.
Yeah, you're at the end, I guess.
Well, my name's John Smith. Do I need to look at the camera?
Please, the microphone's over there, but it picks up really
It picks up,
well.
so you don't have to worry about that, yeah.
So my name's John Smith, believe it or not. And I have 4 older brothers, and our family moved here in 1959, I believe. And so I've been here, I'm 64, so I've been here most all my life.
Okay.
And like I said, I have 4 older brothers. We all went to Milwaukie Grammar School, Milwaukie Junior High, Milwaukie High School, and so we're Milwaukeeans. And I live right across the street from where I grew up.
Oh, that's great.
So it's at the Island Station neighborhood.
It's which one? Island Station?
Island Station neighborhood, and the old trolley had a station there.
Right.
And of course, there's Elk Rock Island on the river, and we're only about maybe three blocks up the river.
Oh, okay. And you are?
I'm Patty Calwhite, and I've been here in Milwaukee since I was 9 months old. My parents adopted me from another friend acquaintance here. I, like John, I went to Wichita, Round Middle School, Milwaukie High School. Met Kathy at Milwaukie High School.
Wow.
Row, sorry. I knew that. Yeah, I can't imagine living anywhere else besides Milwaukee.
Okay, so you still live here?
Yes, we do, right off the Lake Road.
Okay.
My name is Bob Calwhite. I'm married to Patty. My family has been in the Milwaukee area since probably the early 1940s, somewhere in there. Both my parents went to Milwaukie High School, Milwaukie Arnold, and then Milwaukie Junior High. And I actually grew up more on the Sunnyside area where Kaiser Hospital is now. Kaiser bought my parents' house, and they enjoyed there's so much time in Milwaukie area growing up that we moved and lived up 51st and Lake Road. I went to Harmony Elementary, which they tore down. Dale Ickus Junior High, which they tore down. Went to Milwaukie High School, they tore down and rebuilt. So my family has ties to Milwaukie. Our sons are actually the 3rd generation to go through Milwaukie High School.
Yeah.
So we've been in the area for a long time, seen a lot of changes.
Yeah. Kathy?
So I've been in Milwaukee since I was a few days old, and my family is also from Milwaukee. My mom was born in 1918, attended Oak Grove Elementary School, Milwaukie High School, and also 3rd generation at Milwaukie High School, and married to Monty.
All right, Monty.
Yes, I was actually born here as well. Actually, it was 63 years ago. Today. Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
He's buying us lunch.
Yeah.
And same thing, Milwaukie Grammar, Milwaukie Junior High, and Milwaukie High School.
So you're all long-term
Yeah.
Milwaukee, continuing to be long-term Milwaukeeans.
Yes.
Okay, well, why did your parents come here? Any idea? I mean, especially from 1940, what was it?
Yeah, sometime in the 40s, I don't have the exact date.
That's okay.
Yeah, my mom was like 10 or 11 when they moved here, and she was the youngest of 5.
So you don't know if there was a special reason they moved here?
Well, no, not why they picked Milwaukie. They grew up in Butte, Montana. My grandfather worked in the mines, and he had enough of the mines and the shacking.
I don't blame him for that.
Yeah.
And let's see, that was 49. And who else moved here in 1959? That was you.
Yeah.
And that was the year of our centennial.
Yeah.
The Oregon centennial.
Well, I was looking on the internet. I'm cheating, but it was the start of quite a growth in Milwaukee, and so Milwaukee was a kind of a popular area, from what I could tell. I mean, the population was growing, and but my folks were originally in the Portland area, kind of the Park Rose area, and they had a little house, and they got 5 boys, and they needed a bigger house and more room and a nice school district. It was really a good move.
Okay, this is kind of my grandparents, so.
Do you say they were the youngest of 5?
Youngest of 5.
Oh.
And they're all still alive and doing well. And near the area, but not
Okay.
in Milwaukee. I'm the only one that stayed in Milwaukee. So.
Jerry's in Milwaukee.
Oh, well, kind of Oak Grove, yeah, Gladstone area, but yeah, Milwaukee, really near.
Well, my parents, I don't know where they came from, maybe Ashland, maybe, or Idaho. But they lived in the old apartments right down by the waterfront, right next to Vic's Tavern when they first
Oh,
moved here.
right.
And then they bought a house for like, deep cheap, sorry.
Yeah.
In between Bell and Linwood up in there. Then they ended up adopting me and my brother, so.
Nice, yeah, that's great. And so I'm trying to get where they came from. So none of you came as your parents were farmers or?
I have ancestors in the Pioneer Cemetery, but I don't really know what they did.
Okay, you do, grandparents or great-grandparents?
They're relatives of my grandparents, I believe.
And what name would that be?
I believe Thorpe.
Okay, I've seen that over there.
Have you? Okay. Yeah.
That's interesting, you don't go visit them?
I went once.
Well, I have a question for you. You said your mom was born in 1918?
Yes.
Wow, she must have been quite old when she...
Well, I was also adopted, like Patty. So she was an older parent. Both my parents were older. My dad was from Bull Run, Oregon. And his father helped build the power plant out there.
Wow.
At the
Oh, wow.
He was I shouldn't say he helped build it because he was really the gardener. He was there when it was built.
Okay,
So-
so you all grew up in Milwaukee. What was it like growing up? What was some of your things that you did?
It was
Other than
awesome.
school?
Yeah.
It was
It was
great.
awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Excellent
Yeah.
childhood.
I think we all can say it's kind of that small town feel, but we were right on the edge of Portland, but we didn't, it was just so cool. You could do anything. I mean,
Go anywhere by yourself.
Lake Road was all truck farms. I mean, you had radishes. I mean, with the Calcanos, the
Ceres.
Ceres,
Yeah.
the Serginos, which is now houses. Bummer, but
But
and
that's
then-
recent.
Yes, and then all that area still had the rural area, which I really liked because I went to Milwaukee High School my freshman year, and I lived in a rural area and was like moving into the city, but you still had that rural feel.
Right, right.
That's why a lot of us call it Mayberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it Mayberry.
It'll change here,
Oh, it
years.
has.
It has.
A lot.
A lot of changes.
A lot of changes. I miss the
There's
Mayberry
a lot
part.
more. Downtown, I live in the historic Milwaukee area, so I guess that's what I think of. But it's not going to necessarily be bad. We'll see. So, what were some of your favorite things? Going to the pool?
I could give it. Well, I was youngest
Do you
of
wanna
5
say
boys, so we'd grab the fishing pole in summertime and the dog, and I'm just blocks from the river, and we'd go down and play on Elk Rock Island and fish, and we'd make spears, and we were just
Oh, that safe stuff.
running wild, kind of like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. I mean, we'd make rafts out of the logs. They used to ship logs down the river, and a lot of them would get loose. We'd tie them all together and put plywood on it and paddle all around the river, and we were just real adventuresome. We built tree forts and just played in the grass fields, and it was a lot less population, a lot of vacant lots that you could play in and run. And we just, we didn't have cell phones. The parents just said, get home for supper.
Yeah.
They'd yell your
Let us
name.
go. We went wild.
That was kind of we were fortunate, all of us, to
Yeah.
grow up in that era.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the kids.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time just get on our bikes and you take off during the day and you come back, before dark. Parents didn't have to worry about, you disappear or anything like that.
Right.
Bike riding, roller bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That starts to
It's
show.
crazy.
We didn't have to wear helmets either.
Yeah.
I don't think they were invented.
I remember popping the tar bubbles in the streets. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Hot tar bubbles.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And so your family life was okay, 5 brothers, excuse me. You were 5 boys,
Yeah.
you said, yeah. I have 5 brothers.
It was wonderful. Big family, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Great area.
yeah, okay.
What about some of the festivals?
Some what?
The festivals.
Yeah, oh yeah. Did you take part of the festival day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go to that.
Yeah.
Which actually started in, 1946.
Wow.
Right after the war, to get people to shop downtown again.
Yeah.
So it was originally a store thing, and then it just turned into a, I don't know what, parade and everything else.
Yeah, I think too, after we were 21, we got, go to the beer gardens all the time. That seemed to be a big thing to do, when we were in our young
Yeah,
20s.
classmates would be there.
Yeah, it'd be a big reunion thing without trying to be a reunion, but yeah, you could finally get in.
And you think of when you get older, I thought it was really cool with Milwaukie. We were fortunate, the 3 of us, to be on the football team when I went to the state championship. And to watch the city, the community, that's where the Mayberry came out to celebrate. Even though we lost, they celebrated with us. The Elks took us in and gave us dinner, and we had we had parades every homecoming. You had a parade with the old fire trucks and everything, and you don't get that in.
Oh, they still did.
Yeah, they still, but you don't get that and that was always a cool memory that the community really backed and followed the high school, because it was the only high school that was in a city around here in North Clackamas.
And I think with the parade, too, I worked at Milwaukie Elementary for many years, and I think the big thing it became was that the students there, they wanted the candy. They weren't into the whole celebration of Milwaukie or the football team or whatever. They just wanted the candy was what they wanted.
I always suspected that.
Yeah.
We got to get Monty to talk a little bit more.
Okay. What do you remember most from your childhood about Milwaukie and growing up here?
Well, like I said earlier, most of it's just playing, and we had a lot of time down at the river fishing and stuff like that was majority of it.
We had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah. Do you
All
still?
3 of you on the same football team? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably same year,
Class of 77.
And
77.
then we're 78.
Then we don't hold that against them.
Well, that's
They
pretty
were talking about fishing. I remember getting crawdads out of Johnson Creek.
Me too. Well, we lived on Johnson Creek, so.
Yeah.
I'd get them out of Kellogg Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like, ooh, yuck.
Yeah.
Unless it's really hot, then I'm jumping in it.
Yeah.
And do you remember the floods and the Columbus Day storm? And
Mom has a good story.
I do remember.
Memory.
Yeah, it's amazing. You go back, and I was only 4 years old, but I spent the night in 82nd Avenue Bowl. My dad worked construction, and he also managed the bowling alley. And they lifted me up in the vestibule out the window, and you could watch the tin flying off the 82nd Street drive-in.
oh, for the Columbus Day storm?
Yeah, and then I remember there was a big vent for the return air, and it was blowing so much, I wouldn't walk underneath it, so I would walk down by the alleys and walk around it because I was afraid to go under that thing. I spent the night in the bowling
In
alley.
the bowling alley. Well, that's an adventure.
Yeah.
One of my most memorous things about that is that, of course, the power was out where we were at, and so
I think it was
us kids, we all got to chow down on the ice cream out of the freezer.
Oh,
Yeah, kids, go ahead.
Before it goes to waste.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're all-
well, that's good.
I know they had other floods, you brought that up, but I think
64 and 96.
96, oh yeah.
96, that was amazing.
I still have video of that. I went down and it was pretty
Our
amazing.
boys were just little, but I drove down by the High Rocks and stuff and drove down by McDonald's. I was just like,
Well, how was it at Island Station?
What's that?
Who lives at Island
I do,
Station?
yeah.
Okay.
I'd go down there and see all the roof house,
It was covered during the
yeah, the
flood?
roofs of the houses. I mean, yeah, it was just awful. Those that were all right near the water.
Right, right.
Like Nikki Nash's house got flooded, and Tyler's.
What about the Carolyn Tony's house?
Yeah, everyone's.
Flooded?
Yeah, I witnessed that whole thing. This is like, wow, I wouldn't want one of these houses down here.
Well, it was amazing. If you went down to the old boat ramp, the restrooms were up on the highest part, and all you could see is the roof of the restroom. And about another 6 inches, it would have went over Milwaukie.
It was amazing.
Yeah, my boss actually lived on the river,
Yeah.
and we were down there trying to move everything from his first level of his house up to the second floor, because he said the flood was only going to get so high. And while we're up moving stuff, the water's coming up. You can actually see it. It comes up. It's just coming up. If you're up to your knees. And so we got everything up to the second floor, and the water kept coming up to the point where that was all underwater too. And so the whole house is flooded.
And then he was in a rowboat coming from the second story of his house across what used to be the street.
Yeah, it was something else.
Wow.
That was the one in 96?
Yeah, I was living in Selwyn, so I kind of, got in the car and had to look around, but I didn't go out to Island Station or anything.
Yeah, that was terrible out there.
Yeah.
crazy.
So, what else do we want to talk about? Milwaukie. What do you love most?
Well, in the past, when I was little, I spent a lot of time at Perry's Pharmacy, Dairy Queen,
Yeah.
Milwaukie Pharmacy, the meat market, all those businesses down there. My mom would go to Perry's and pay my grandma's bills.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
had a payphone there, and I'd go in there and play in that payphone.
Well, yeah, it was, those are things I was thinking of too. I was thinking of the pharmacy.
Teenies,
Yep, yeah.
Gately.
five and dime.
Five times.
Awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Max Pitt was down there. Cooper's Market with the big, my parents had a meat locker down there, and even when we lived on the hill, more, not right in Milwaukie, but they still have, that's where they went.
Candyland, let's not forget.
Kellogg Bowl, I see it back there. Champ Husted and Bill Oaken. Bill Oaken and my dad were dear friends. And so when my dad retired, he got a second job working at the bowling alley. Bill, so
You must have enjoyed it.
it did very much.
Champ Houston's still around.
I know,
He's
so is
still-
Bill. Oh my
And he's
goodness.
still, doing volunteer stuff and
Yeah, he's-
all that.
he's
Great
great.
community.
I
We've got some
think
great leaders.
Yeah, and the thing, even now, back then, everybody, you knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, and we still find that out.
Oh, yeah,
now,
definitely.
Years now. Well, how do you know that person? Well, how do you know that? Well, I've known them since I was a little kid. Wow, I never knew. Being here, that part of it, I think, is still here, being in a smaller
So would you say that currently that's your favorite part is the connections you have?
Yes, yeah.
Our last name is, if you're a calwhite, somewhere along the line across the United States, we're related. And my dad was Bob Sr., I'm Bob Jr., and then we have our two sons that are going through the same thing, that they went and they're like, are you? Yeah, it's my dad. And I went through the same, but it's so many people in Milwaukee, and I'll run into people, hey, I think I knew your dad. And to me, that was really cool, you know, so they could have said, ooh, I think I knew your dad, but, you know, so it was just that small community and how things intertwined. And I put some on Facebook about the Milwaukee area memory. And I put a picture of my dad when we played football at Milwaukee, and all of a sudden a guy from Putnam that we were competed against and everything goes, hey, I bet you Jack Horner's picture's in that same book. He goes, because your dad and Jack were friends. Yeah. And that's how the community, there's a lot of people that stick around this area.
Well, the Cherriginos are still around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think every boy was coached by Louis Cherrigino at some time or another.
My dad was. So it's, yeah.
You mentioned we mentioned the drive-in. I miss drive-ins. Drive-in was so much fun. Get a bunch of people in the trunk of the car, you know, let them out. I miss drive-ins. That was fun.
I think there's still one up in Newburgh.
I know, but that's a long
But they may already know about the people in the trunk thing.
I'm sure they do.
don't know that
I'm
anymore.
sure they do. Yeah, that was always fun. That was always-
Yeah, we used to cruise 82nd Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
We got our driver's license.
Yes, that was in cruising, yeah.
Well, I would
Oh my
cruise it
gosh.
now.
Yeah.
It depends how far you go. How far you go.
Well, all you need to do is go down there at night, roll down your window or down your window and yell out, hey! And other things.
Yeah, that's what they would say back to you, but yeah.
Yeah.
I remember since I lived over, up in Linwood and Bell, there wasn't a McDonald's anywhere over in our neighborhood. That was a big thing,
Yeah, I remember when the
We had
one
steak
opened on
burger.
Milwaukie.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like,
That was a big thing.
Yeah, that was huge. Now look at all the stuff that's on the east side. But yeah, I always wanted a McDonald's.
Well, they have them
So
there, it's just
deprived.
in the-
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, everywhere you go.
You start talking about where McDonald's is now. There was
Another family.
The Downses were big. Jim Downs owned a garage when my dad was a kid. Jim was only maybe 10 years older than my dad. He let my dad go in and use his tools and lock up his garage and make sure everything was fine. You don't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
I remember being in high school, Jim's family owned the property where Milwaukie Marketplace is, still does. And it was Milwaukee Automotive was down there. And so my dad said, hey, take your aunt's car, something's going on, go have Jim see what they can do with it. So I go down and Jim didn't physically work anymore. And he goes, no, this belt just needs to be tight. And I said, okay, leave it. And he goes, no, the tools are in there, you fix it. And that's what made Milwaukee, it was like, no, it's too simple, you do it, it's nothing major. And those were the type of relationships that you had.
Bernard's Garage was the same.
Yeah, exactly. And then Olsen Brothers, Point S, Brad Olsen, my dad grew up with his dad and his uncles.
And he went to grade school with us. Brad did.
I went to kindergarten with the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in my Rotary Club.
Yeah. You tell him I badmouth him, it's all right.
He'll probably do it back.
Oh, yeah,
you probably would, yeah.
What else? How about the thing you like now, like less about Milwaukee?
I think it seems kind of overpopulated, I think. And that's just because I'm used to not so much population.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not in other people's eyes, but to me, it's kind of like getting a little
I
crowded.
think people commute through Milwaukee, not necessarily live here, but they're going from point A to point B, and it's more congested.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traffic is so
Things
terrible.
are so different. How about you? What do you think? Maybe your favorite thing currently. Favorite thing, worst thing.
Oh my goodness. The worst thing, I'm kind of like John, in a sense. I mean, I know that it's expected. Things, you know, we move on, things change, you know, but I miss all the truck gardens.
Yeah.
And I miss the, you know, I miss Vic's Tavern. You know, because it was a cool place to go.
It was.
On
It
the
was
river.
real alternative at the time.
Yeah, and a beautiful bar in there, and it was just kind of a cool, nostalgic place to go. And
A lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history, I guess, and knowing that my parents, you know, lived in those apartments by there and stuff, and I don't know, downtown Milwaukee just seems. I mean, I know there are a lot of new businesses and stuff, but it just doesn't have the same vibe to me, you know. So I don't know. My favorite thing is just. It's a great place.
Okay.
It still is a great place.
Yes.
Even with all the changes and all the new developments and everything, it's still a great place to live. So I would
Okay.
say that. Yeah.
My favorite, you know, I don't know if I really have a favorite anymore. I've seen, definitely not, it's a great place to live. Seen a lot worse places, seen some better places. Along with Patty, the changes were Milwaukee, it used to be a working class community. And I'm seeing it going up, you know, up when we have houses going in where Ferraginos are that we're starting at $600,000. To me, that is not what Milwaukee was always all about. We all came from working families that, you know, were put back where it was almost, it was customer service or, you know, just people service type things. We did things in construction and sales, and I don't see that. I see it trying to get away from that a little bit more. I almost think, in my personal opinion, they're turning it into a yuppie thing. I love what they did to the waterfront to make it more accessible and everything. We fish all the time, and they turned their nose at us so bad when we asked about the boat ramp, the city of Milwaukee. The only reason they have the boat ramp, my belief is, and I heard this from some people that I know in other places, is they put the boat ramp in with the parking limited as far as they could go, and the only reason they had to is because they needed the money from Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, the Marine Board, all of that. And that, to me, is they could have made it multi-use, amphitheater, great, but there were so many things they could have done that the construction industry would have allowed them to use it for both, and they just put the blinders on and said this. So I just think Milwaukee's turning a little more yuppieville for me.
How about you, Kathy?
John and I have been walking a lot lately, and I think I enjoy seeing a lot of the older homes that are still there. Downtown, Oak Grove, places like that. And I enjoy looking at our history. I wonder what the history is of those homes, but it's nice to see that they're still standing and not plowed over with a new home.
Well, we have a whole room over there.
Yeah.
That has information on those kinds of things.
Right.
If you ever want to visit.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what I enjoy, and I wish downtown Milwaukee was different. I see other smaller towns like Camas. They're so cute, and you want to go there and explore the little towns, and they put flower baskets out, and, you know, whatever. Anyway, they just draw you in, and Milwaukee right now doesn't draw me in, and that makes me sad.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say like Selwood too. You know, if you go over there's a bunch of little restaurants and stuff like that. I could see Milwaukee, you know, do something like that where, you know, you might want to go downtown and have something to eat or, you know.
You gotta find a place to park.
There we go.
Actually, I want to add one thing, and I don't know what's ever going to become of it, but I could have swore about a year ago I read that somebody wanted to change the name of, not of Milwaukee, but the Dogwood City.
Yeah.
All right, so I won't go into a rant on camera about what I think.
It's okay, go ahead.
You know what? You know what? You knew that's what it was when you moved here. Leave it alone as part of the dang history, and forget it. Name's not changing.
And
Although it should have been the Bing Cherry City.
yes, it should have. It should have.
I know.
Yeah.
Being you.
That's kind of like the high school, you know, that was a big thing. Everybody knew, even when we went there, it needed to have updates and be remodeled, and we knew that. We've never said that it doesn't need to be remodeled, but they've changed it so much that it doesn't fit the neighborhood,
Right,
my personal
I
opinion.
agree.
And I know it needs to be new and modern and whatever, but they just took the whole character of that, to me, and the history of the high school away from that. Even though they did other little things, it's just, to me, it's not the same.
We're not blaming the city of Milwaukee for that one. It had nothing to do with it. That was in the school district, but okay.
Well, no, but it was you, Bob, because every time you went to a school, it got torn down.
Well, that's right.
It was because of him.
Well, it was amazing. I put my comments in and emailed the gal that was in. I said, so you could leave the front facade and change it, you know. And she goes, oh, there's too much. I go, wait a minute. I'm in the construction industry. I can tell you right now, anything can be done.
Yeah,
She goes, well, I'll ask that question. That was as far as it went. It's like, things can be done. But you know what? It's, I know friends with some people that were there, that are retired, that are still there. They love it. And it did need to be redone.
Oh, yeah, nobody denies that. It did.
it's just too, in my opinion, it's too bad that it was rebuilt during a time of this architectural IKEA.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't, it's not warm and
No, it doesn't.
inviting to me.
It's institutionalized.
Yes.
It's like some office buildings.
But then there's this whole thing where a lot of kids are, half the time they're doing school at home because they can.
Yeah.
And so things are different.
I know, but still.
I'm just glad we grew up when we did.
Yes.
Definitely.
Before we sign off here, is there anything else we need to?
I think you covered it all. You just
Okay, is there anything you'd like to add? And spouting off is accepted.
Well, thank you for this, your museum. I think it's wonderful. This is the first time I've gotten to come in and see it. And I'm looking at these pictures, it's just warming my heart up. This is fantastic.
That's great.
It's very cool, and I've never been here either. I live so far away. I just live off 51st and Lake. And I go the long way to their house and drive by here all the time. You know?
Well, it's open every Saturday from 1 to 5.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and when I first moved back here, because I had lived all over the country, and then moved back in 91, 92, somewhere around there. And for the first year, all winter long, I'd come here to the museum and spend an hour or two on rainy Saturdays.
Well, I know it came in very handy when Kathy and I were planning our 40th reunion, because I took a lot of pictures of articles and things that you had to make.
Oh, good.
Displays with them, so thank you. Yeah, that people are like, oh my gosh, I don't remember this, or oh, I forgot all about that. So thank you. That was really a big hit and really helped. So.
Okay, so to sign off, if each of you would say something about happy anniversary to Milwaukie, just kind of look into the camera.
Monty, you go first.
Yeah.
Well, happy anniversary.
120th.
Happy 120th anniversary to Milwaukie. I've been here at least half that time.
Oh my gosh. We all have.
Yes, happy anniversary to a great city, and hope we slow down on some of the modern changes, but happy 100 years.
121.
120. About over 100 years.
Happy 120th anniversary, Milwaukie, and here's to many, many more.
likewise, happy anniversary, Milwaukee.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was
You're welcome. It was
great.
fun.
You know,